Stocks are trying to bounce a little bit here. Crypto markets have been springy since lunchtime, basically. Scott Bauer joins, CEO of Prosper Trading Academy, for a look at the Friday session here. Scott, great to see you, sir. How are you?
You too. I'm glad it's Friday. I got to be honest with you. This was a long week.
Yeah, we're all eager to get out into the beautiful Chicago wintertime.
Frozen tundra.
Wintertime weather, baby. Where are you in Chicago? You out in the woods?
I am in Chicago right now. Yes.
Right.
Hopefully, we'll be celebrating the holidays a little further west from here.
There we go. Are you financing it via Bitcoin, Scott? When is this going to stop? We're at 102, and it looks like it's trying to warm up this afternoon.
It does. You know, when I spoke to Diane this morning about this range that we've been in, albeit, 96 to 103, 104, so that's pretty wide range. But the range we've been in, especially over the last couple days, where that range has narrowed, to me, that was a really good setup here for the bulls, because we were getting volume. We were, really putting in a nice solid base. If you were to zoom in on a chart just over the last couple of days, you would see that really narrow range. And now it looks like it might be breaking out. And, we could see this weekend here, Oliver, back to 105 or, where we tip those highs.
Okay. If we... or maybe I'll frame it this way, Scott, what do you want the chart to look like, and what don't you want it to look like? What's the worst version of this chart? What's the best version of it in your mind?
I don't want to see a straight line candle up or down. I want to see kind of the sideways trade. I'd love to see a stair step to the upside. If it happens to the downside, it happens. But we don't want to see, a big gap just because something happens. After the close day, we get the NASDAQ rebalancing, as you and Kevin were just talking about. So a stock like MicroStrategy, MSTR, which is expected to get, added to the NASDAQ, does that have any relevance really to Bitcoin? Probably not. But if they do get added and we do see potentially a big rally in a stock like that, I think that may lend itself psychologically, emotionally, to people also just looking at that and saying, "Oh wow, here we go," and that could lend itself to a move higher.
We had a fun conversation earlier with head of research at CoinDesk. Andy Bauer was here, and we were having a lively discussion about whether or not today is always the best time to get into crypto. My argument was technically not, because your expected returns have gone down over time, even though they're still big. What do you think?
I would agree with that. I mean, I never like, chasing something or getting into, a perceived top, whether it's fundamentally or technically. Do we know that this is a top? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But I kind of agree with that. It's hard for me to buy into it here. I'm still holding on to, as we talked a couple of weeks ago, I would love to see personally Bitcoin come back to that 75, 76 area where that was, the resistance. That was the top for such a long time. And if it held there, now you're talking, okay, it really put in its base, and now it's off to the races. So for me, that's the level I would really watch. I know that, the bulls out there don't want to see this thing drop 25%. I think in the long run, that could be a really good benefit, but I know people don't want to see that.
Might be an easier level to stomach through some volatility, because this thing's going to go back and forth whenever it does have whatever breakdown comes, or if it has another breakout. But that was kind of his other argument, is that the coiners do want over time it to settle down and not be so insane if there's going to be like institutional interest and stuff. So I do sympathize with that argument, which is also your stair-step argument. I'll flip it over to gold for a sec. Gold's getting beat up. Silver's been getting beat up. Is there a trade in there?
Yeah, I still think it's a buy the dip. I really do. We've been talking about this for a while. So where is that dip? I think we're getting really close in gold. Silver, to me, that 27 area, 27 and a quarter-ish area. That's a big buy area to me. So I think it is still buy the dip. It still looks like it is going to move higher. I think that, the market's maybe getting a little spooked here on rates ticking up like this, and just, some of the uncertainty about the Fed and what they may do beyond December. But I like it. I really like it.
All right. It's also kind of holding in the range, right? Like it hasn't really, does it look like it's trending to you? It's a tricky chart to me.
It is in the range. It's been really volatile. Earlier in the week, we saw a massive move up, and that just got wiped out in the last 2 days. So we typically don't see that kind of volatility on a day-to-day basis. But if you broaden that range out a little bit, yes, you're right. It is still within that range. It is trending down now, maybe towards, midpoint, a little bit lower than midpoint here. But I really do like the outlook. I would probably, my ideal entry point here would probably be about 2660. So just a little bit lower than where we are right now. But I think you got to watch that. And, silver, I think I mentioned 27. I meant 30. I was thinking about SLV 27. I was talking about 30 or 30-ish in silver.
Got it. Like that. Good stuff. Scott, appreciate the levels. Appreciate the thoughts. Good to catch up. Have a great weekend. Yeah, likewise. See you soon. Scott Bauer, CEO of Prosper Trading Academy.